Well, today I'm working on the old John Deere 410 loader backhoe. The starter has been giving me some issues. When you crank it over and you let off the button to start it, it continues cranking and does not stop until you unplug the battery, which is not easy to do because the battery is under the floor. So while it's cranking over and burning up the starter and about to burn up my battery cables, you're trying to pull the floor up in the cab to get to the battery. It's not really the best situation. So I decided to go ahead and clean the starter solenoid because that's part of my issue, and then I want to take it off. It just fell into a bunch of pieces and is junk. Starter solenoid cost me about $45, and a new gear reduction starter was about $145 after tax. So I decided to spend the extra money and just buy a whole new starter because I bet the one I have now is already weak because I don't know how long it has been on this machine. Here's the starter I bought. Like I said, it is a gear reduction starter. I've had good luck with this style of starter. I put one on my Belarus 250 AS tractor, and it now starts insanely well. So I'm hoping it's going to help out this old backhoe. Hope it's going to start better. So I'm going to go ahead and get the camera turned around, and we'll see what it's going to take to remove this starter. Well, the starter is right here inside the engine. It's easy to get to. I already have my hood removed, but you should be able to leave the hood on if you want. It just sits right down there. I think it's pretty sure it's 2 bolts holding on. And then a handful of wires. Already had the wires taken off, so it all should be easy coming off. I'm going to grab some tools and get it removed. Well, these bolts back here are 9/16, and you cannot get to them with a socket. You gotta get onto them with a wrench. It's really quite tight walking back in here. You just have one bolt right up top here, and then looks like another one here down at the bottom starter. Well, this is going to take me about 20 hours to get this off, so I'll cut back when I got this off.
1 hour later.
Okay, once I got the nut broke loose on top here, I'm able to halfway get a socket stuck onto this, and it's actually coming right off. That's going to save me a lot of time. One thing I do want to mention is to be really cautious. This is your fuel filter, and the base of this fuel filter is glass. You see it's already chipped there. So you do want to be cautious. You don't accidentally break this with the handle of your ratchet or something like that. So that's one thing to watch out for. Right here is actually more of a hassle to get to than the top bolt. I didn't think that was wholly possible, but apparently it is. And there it is. Well, here is a comparison of the two starters side by side. And when I bought this new starter, they said to measure to make sure it fits because it is 3 inches longer than the original. However, I got to measuring, and the original starter here, from this flange to the back of it here, the longest point, it measures 10.5 inches, where this new starter measures 10.25 inches. So it is actually 1/4 inch shorter. So I don't know what they're talking about with it being 3 inches longer. That's really going to make it a lot easier to install, and we'll get it stuck in here and see how it does. One thing I should also mention with the starter is it is a lot lighter and a lot easier to handle. This top bolt here is a kind of a pain to get to. Just dropped the nut again. And finally, after 10 minutes, I believe I have the nuts started on. That top one is not easy to get to. Just a heads up for anyone who's going to be changing the starter on this machine. I don't know why they make it so hard to get to some of these bolts, but I guess that's kind of the way it is. I was hoping this starter being in different shape was actually going to be easier but I'm not sure if it is. Well, so far the best tool I found for this job is a wobble and wrench, and you really can't get it on there too great. Then kind of get wedged in there and at least get it snugged down where you can get a actual wrench in there and then try to get it tightened in. I'm assuming I can get an actual wrench in there. And I believe that is tightened down. Now I need to tighten up to one here in the bottom and then get over wiring hooked up. And again, this wobble and the wrench might be the best bet here for the bottom bolt too. I can't get a socket on there or a wobble socket, and I can't even hardly get a wrench onto it. But a wobbled wrench seems to be doing it, I guess. And I'm going to call that tight. Now for the wiring, you just want to hook it up the exact same way it came off. This should be on the starter solenoid, but like I said earlier, it completely fell apart, so that's all that's left of it. Well, I had the starter tightened down, and I got the wiring all hooked up. I believe we're ready to get it tested out. I've had the block heater plugged in about 45 minutes now, because we're quite cold. It's about 20 degrees out, and this backhoe never has started well in cold weather. Once it gets down to about 35, even as warm as 40, it doesn't like to start. So I'm hoping this starter is actually going to help that. So I'm going to go ahead and climb the cab, see if it starts. Okay, the battery was dead on it, so we got the battery charged here for quite a while, and we're going to try it again. That starter cranks over way better than what the last starter did. I don't know if the last starter was just worn out or if this is gear reduction starter helps that much. Either way, I'm not disappointed with it. Like I said earlier, I have another one of these gear reduction starters in my Belarus tractor, and it works insanely well. So far, I'm really happy with them, and I recommend installing them. The backhoe was slow starting, even though we had the block heater plugged up for probably about an hour, hour and a half. It's quite cold. It's 22 degrees. It feels like 13 with the wind chill. So it was a bit slow starting. But it did start, so it's ahead of what it was. I'm going to let the backhoe warm up here for quite a while before I get turned off. And it's probably going to be doing it here for right now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment down below. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.